Joseph looked up. His eyes met hers, and for a moment, time seemed to halt. He didn't speak. He couldn't. Something in his chest tightened, a feeling both new and unexplainably familiar. But Joseph Lapointe wasn't a man who let moments pass. Gathering his composure, he stood. "Would you join me for another cup?" he asked, gesturing to the seat across from him. "It tastes better with conversation, I'm told." She paused, just a beat, then gave the faintest nod and sat down gracefully. Her movements calm, but her eyes carried something else, something deeper. "I'm Joseph," he said. "I know," she replied with a soft grin. "I'm Fiona." He leaned in, curious. "Where are you from, Fiona?" "London," she said. "Born and raised not far from here. This hotel has been a part of my life longer than I can remember. I started here as a waitress when I was just 16. Now I'm the assistant to the manager." Joseph smiled. "You belong here," he said quietly, almost to himself. They continued talking. He asked about her life in the city and how she found peace in such a busy place. She asked about his travels, his favorite cities, and why he always stayed at Brown's. Then Joseph's voice lowered slightly. "I don't normally feel like this," he admitted. "Not at first sight, but when I saw you yesterday, something changed." Fiona smiled, not just politely, but with something real behind it. "I should be honest with you too," she said. "This isn't the first time I've seen you. You've been coming here for years. I used to watch you reading alone in the lobby, sometimes ordering tea, sometimes that ridiculous coffee with too much sugar." Joseph blinked. "You noticed?" "Every time," she said, smiling wider now. "I always hoped you might notice me back." They both laughed, softly, but it meant something. Hours passed like moments. The room faded away as their conversation deepened. They spoke of childhood, books, music, and dreams long tucked away. Something unspoken grew between them as the light outside faded into the soft gray of a London afternoon. Joseph looked at her. "When you're done with work today," he said gently, "would you join me for a walk? Or dinner maybe, just to talk more, and for me to finally notice you properly." Fiona's smile this time was certain. "I'd like that," she said. And just like that, the story of Joseph and Fiona had truly begun. Later that evening, just as the gas-lit lamps of London began to glow against the misty air, Joseph waited outside the hotel doors, and when Fiona stepped out, the city itself seemed to quiet in her presence. Without a word, their hands met, fingers lacing naturally, and together they began walking into the London night. Fiona led the way, guiding Joseph through narrow cobbled alleys and quiet corners of the city he'd never known existed. Though he had traveled the world, nothing felt quite like this, discovering London through the eyes of someone who adored it, and being with someone who might one day adore him just as deeply. They laughed, shared stories, and strolled through gardens and quiet lanes as if time had decided to wait for them. Hours passed, yet neither felt tired. Eventually, Fiona suggested they stop at a small, charming restaurant she knew well. Rule's, one of the oldest and finest in the city, a place of warmth, history, and stories whispered over candlelight. They took a quiet corner table. The atmosphere was gentle, the food rich, and the conversation deeper than ever. And somewhere between the second course and a glass of wine, Joseph leaned in, his voice soft but steady. "Fiona, I've traveled the world, walked through cities, deserts, mountains, but this, you, you feel like the destination. Would you consider being my partner, not just now, but always, in everything, in the life I live and the adventures I have yet to take? Fiona froze. A silence fell between them. Joseph's heart raced. Doubt began to creep in. But then Fiona spoke, gently. Joseph, you have no idea how long I've dreamed of hearing something like this from you. But what about everything I've built? My work at the hotel? It's been my life for years. Can I really leave all that behind? Joseph paused, his eyes never leaving hers. He understood more than she knew. What if, instead of leaving something behind, we build something new together, something that's ours, a future we create, side by side? Fiona looked at him, torn yet moved. Let me think about it, she said with a soft smile. We see each other every day. I won't make you wait long. That was enough for Joseph. The seed was planted. They stayed a while longer, but soon Fiona, weary from a long morning shift, asked if they could return. Joseph paid the check, and together they walked back to Brown's hotel. Slower this time, quietly soaking in the night, hearts lighter than before. As they reached the entrance, Joseph glanced at Fiona under the soft glow of the gaslight. Whatever came next would begin with her. The next day started. Joseph thought it would be a happy day for him and Fiona, but something unexpected happened. The land of London and the whole United Kingdom turned into sadness, because on the day of the 20th of June, 1837, it was announced that King William IV had died. The news spread quickly, and now everyone was in shock. Joseph woke up that day and heard the news. He knew it would now be impossible to get an answer from Fiona about what he asked her the night before. While Joseph was sitting in his room, there was a knock at the door. Joseph opened it. It was a staff member from the hotel handing him a letter. Joseph was confused. What letter was this? He thanked the staff member, closed the door, and opened it. The letter was fancy, elegant, in a royal style. It was from the royal palace, an invitation to attend the funeral of King William IV. Joseph was known for his royal background, coming from a noble family in the Kingdom of France. Later that night, Joseph went down to the hotel's lobby with the letter in hand, not knowing what to do. Part of him even thought of leaving London, leaving everything behind. But while he was standing in the hotel hallway, a voice behind him said with a soft laugh, "Looking for someone, sir?" Joseph turned around. It was her, Fiona. The moment he saw her, a smile appeared on his face. His heart started to beat faster. He told her about the letter and everything that had happened. Fiona listened and told him, "You have to go. Represent your family." But Joseph didn't want to live in the shadow of his family name anymore. He had been forced into paths he never chose. Fiona sensed how heavy this felt for him. So she said, "What if we go together?" Joseph was confused. A mix of feelings stirred in him. He wondered, will we go as friends? As a couple? What does she mean? But without hesitation, Joseph accepted. The next morning, exactly at 9 a.m., Joseph and Fiona left Brown's hotel in a special carriage sent by the royal palace to attend the funeral of King William IV. It was a sad day, but Joseph wasn't sad. Every moment he spent with Fiona was something special. The funeral was filled with royal names, people from Egypt, China, even Greece. Joseph and Fiona stood quietly among the dignitaries. After the ceremony, they walked together again in the streets of London, but this time it was mostly silence between them. not because they had nothing to say, but maybe because there was too much. Then Fiona spoke. "Joseph, would you like to visit my family?" she asked. "I'll be going to see them tomorrow." Joseph was surprised but happy. He knew that meeting her family meant something. Maybe Fiona wanted them to meet her future partner. She added with a smile, "My mother cooks roast duck very well." Joseph couldn't hide his joy. Roast duck was his favorite. It seemed like Fiona knew more about him than he realized. They walked back to the hotel together, and when they arrived, Joseph went straight to his room, tired from the long emotional day. But in his heart, something felt right. The next morning, Joseph and Fiona rode together in a carriage through the quiet outskirts of London, heading toward her family home. It was a modest but warm place, the kind of home Joseph had never known but instantly admired. When they arrived, her mother and father greeted them with open arms. Joseph felt a rare joy swell inside him. He wasn't just visiting someone, he was being welcomed into the world of the woman he deeply admired and perhaps loved. As they entered, Joseph's eyes caught a framed painting on the wall. Fiona smiled and pointed at it. "That's my little sister, Mary." The girl in the painting looked like a younger reflection of Fiona, joyful and full of life. They sat together in the parlor, speaking and laughing until the meal was ready. During dinner, Fiona and Joseph sat side by side. It felt natural, like they'd done it 100 times before. Afterward, her mother asked Fiona if she could check on Mary in the garden. But as Fiona left the room, Joseph understood. She wanted a moment alone with him. Her voice was calm but piercing. "Be honest with me, son. Do you really love her?" Joseph was caught off guard, not by the question, but by how deeply it mattered. "I do, ma'am. I love her very much, but I still don't know if she feels the same." Her mother looked him straight in the eye. "I know my daughter. The moment she invited you here, I saw something I've never seen before. That girl loves you more than she knows how to say." Joseph hesitated. "Then why does she seem hesitant?" Her mother sighed, soft but heavy. "She's worked her whole life for that hotel. Love wasn't part of her plans. Maybe she doesn't know how to show it. Maybe she needs you to show her the way." Then gently, "Promise me one thing. Take care of her. I love my daughter more than anything in this world." Joseph reached forward, took her hand, and kissed it. "You have my word. She's safe with me." Just then, Fiona returned with Mary, a bright-eyed little girl who peered shyly from behind her sister. Joseph knelt down and smiled. At first, Mary seemed nervous, but within moments, his warmth had her giggling. Fiona watched with quiet wonder. The afternoon slipped away. When the carriage arrived to take them back to the city, Joseph said goodbye to her parents. As he turned to her mother, he gave a simple, silent nod, and she smiled back, understanding exactly what it meant. As the carriage wheels turned and London's skyline began to rise in the distance, Fiona gently leaned her head against Joseph's shoulder, and in that quiet moment, Joseph Lapointe, the man who had spent his life chasing the winds of freedom, finally began to understand where it truly lived.